Good evening, Professor. As you can see by the title today, I'll be giving you a brief tour of globalization and DI in trends of human resource management. So, next slide. I'll be going through a brief series of with the agenda as mentioned. I'll be going through introduction, globalization, effects and trends of globalization, diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as effects and trends in DEI, dynamics of how both the human resource trends work, and last but not least, the summary. So, if we go into the brief introduction of human resource management, a lot of actually, as known, a lot of human labor is involved, where a lot of them actually exchange ideas or even various categories, where a lot of them work in particular areas in terms of polishing work ethics, skills, or even developing ideas in order for them to actually applicate and be thought in, for further for further employees or their organizations and even business organizations that they may have globally as well. So morally, actually, a lot of them actually are the powerhouse for employees in order for them to actually see themselves in the future in this case. So a lot of so if we go into globalization, so as we describe in globalization, sorry about that. So you may be wondering how globalization actually is involved in human resource management. So actually, I'm so sorry, I won't say so. A lot of them actually get connected through increasing independence and also a lot of interdependence and connections where a lot of them can be done through economic boosts or even worldwide where they get to exchange certain drives in human resource management where, for example, exchange of ideas, as I've mentioned, innovative like be through, for example, internet, or even another good example would be Apple in this scenario. Even though Apple was originally not really manufactured, but the idea and the thought process, most of the innovation was done, in California, in North America. It actually gets manufactured and it's actually produced in China and gets distributed worldwide. So this actually would be a prime example where they actually can connect and build about connections in order for them to connect with a lot of businesses and get to know what works ethically or unethically for the organization that they actually have contributions with. So one emphasis that I've mentioned would be to employees actually not feeling included and forgetting the fact that, certain cultures have, different ethical working hours where they actually might long work hours, work longer hours than most of the work companies may actually do have. And, they may sometimes forget, for example, especially in Asian countries, there are certain hierarchies and structures that, certain or Western people, or even certain people from different countries may, potentially have cultural shocks and may not be adaptable for those changes due to the trend of, those global markets where they actually build connections with. And as I dived into the diversity, equity, and inclusion, a lot of them actually, carry out the main roles where a lot of companies actually, precisely focus on building those components and establishing, rules, policies in order for them to actually find those proper talent pools and also, connect with proper leadership skills and develop those strategic skills where they can actually potentially find, those core essentials and also find the direction and the diversion that they actually strive for. So you may be wondering actually how there may be, even affect how it can come about with effects in the DI from trends. It could be done through social justice and advocacy. You may be wondering how. So predominantly, some countries may actually have, you know, not really some countries, so sorry. some companies may actually have predominantly certain races that may actually be, predominant due to maybe even their home country, or even be through certain trust policies that they may have done through business exchange ideas, or even through references where this can actually cause, certain employees to, resign from their jobs due to lack of them feeling, the authority or even the power for them to, continue or even be in a particular workplace where they could potentially feel more depressed or even withdraw in order to save their mental health in this case. And a lot of partnerships and engagement and rising remote work could also potentially be a potential drawback due to the rise of AI, where they do not feel the human connection that a lot of them actually desire to build upon. And they may not be actually familiar with that. And this could cause a ruckus with, even the trusted, or even with through the loyal consumers that they may feel, sorry, that they may feel, it no longer is where it is, and this could also they may also feel that the employees are too lazy in a sense where they do not precisely desire to show up in order to make them feel welcome in a sense. So, so as I mentioned with the human resource traits, trends, for example, how this dynamic works, a lot of them, a lot of them actually should strive for, equal opportunities in order for the organizations to strive on with, the business exchange ideas and the policies that they desire to bring, and as well as for them to bring about profitable opportunities and also profits where they actually can utilize those for potential developments for employees and also opportunities in the long run, and pretty much and the environment as well where they can actually create environment that is more welcoming for um, all sorts of employees, regardless of race, and bringing about those changes where they actually potentially can be more, where they can actually be more innovative and feel more, presentable in this case, where a lot of them can actually generate innovative ideas and feel more productive than they potentially can be. So, with summary, as I mentioned, if we actually continue this practice, this can actually potentially, bring about a lot of organizational competitions, even be it within their own economic, even be it within their own, international branches, or even through, certain countries, or even be it in the domestic market, where this can potentially bring about a lot of employees from various cultures, and also where they can bring about a connection with one of the with the government policies and the leaderships, where they can potentially maybe from a private sector they can actually divert into a public sorry, where from a private company they can turn into a public company through government support, and this could potentially be a factor where a lot of them can know the brand through advertisements, and potentially knowing that it's a public company and seeing those benefits. And yeah, potentially one of them that could be one of the factors, yeah, and with the DEI and globalization. And thank you so much. And thank you so much for listening, Professor. And these are my references. I thank you so much for this opportunity as well. Thank you.